Is this really happening? Oh, 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 oh! Hey! Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. I'm Phil, the Issues Guy, here this afternoon for a little bit. This isn't going to be the longest stream ever, even though this is the first one I've been back for a while. I'm sorry for the break. I am in the middle of piles of ludicrous stuff all exploding at the same time. We all know those stretches in life that happen. But I had a snow day today. That's right, a snow day. And I'm not talking about a euphemism for doing drugs off a table. I'm talking about an actual snow day. I know I'm pretty hyper. I know I'm all over the place. So it could potentially mean something else. But it doesn't mean anything else right now. No, it doesn't. Here I am. There I am. Dirty, disgusting hippie. Put it back on. Put on the cartoon back on. No one wants to actually look at me. But I'm here to discuss a few things. As I mentioned before, my co-host Joe Dirty Locks is on leave currently, but he did talk to me a little bit about his thoughts on this final season or final few episodes of The Walking Dead, so I'll be talking about that. Also want to talk about a little bit about the first 4 episodes of The Mandalorian. As I have been watching it, I've just been unable to come out here and talk about it, so I do have some things to say about that. And also, I have a request that I have to finally complete after 72,000 years for Fandom D Saint / BBM94. So I have to tell him what I thought about the end of one of his amazing series. But most of all, I'm here for you, the live motherfucking chat. I've been missing you guys the last couple of weeks. I've been knee deep in some other creative venture that ends in January. And once that whole mess of disgustingness is over with in January, I'll be back out here at the beginning of February a little bit more often. But I'm going to try to fit myself in. I'm going to square peg myself into round holes right now and try to get out here as much as I can in the next bit while I'm doing this other commitment. I'm doing it. I'm doing it bad. But yes, we have the live motherfucking chat. Enough complaining about why I haven't been out here. Let me just be out here. I'm just wasting time for the actual show. But happy holidays to those of you in the United States that celebrated that big turkey day, and I hope that you didn't clog too many arteries, and I hope you're ready for this holiday season of goofiness. And also in January, we have Picard coming back. Yes, Vikings comes back tomorrow, and I will be talking about it here and there, but I don't think I'll be doing episode recaps right after the episodes air on Vikings. There's enough other stuff going on around the world and other people talking about that show, but I will be mentioning it here and there, and as much as possible, as much as Joe and I can get out here to discuss that, as Joe's starting to feel better. And he can't wait to get out here. In fact, there was a couple of times where Joe wanted to come out here, and I was busy. He's like, I feel better. Let's do it. And I was like, I fell asleep because I wasn't very excited by The Walking Dead. So we're going to get into The Walking Dead right away here and talk a bit about what I thought. But let me jump into the live motherfucking chat. When am I going to talk about The Last Kingdom? As soon as I get a chance to watch it all. I've heard really good things about it. I've only really watched an episode of 2 of it, and I enjoy it from what I've seen. But you know how it is sometimes with shows that you have on the back burner to watch eventually. You end up catching up with a lot of other stuff. And today is about the catch-up. It's about me catching up on a bunch of other shows to discuss. But The Last Kingdom is absolutely something I wish to watch and discuss at some point in time. And I will eventually. Because I've heard nothing but good things about it, even association to Vikings and to other programs that have certain similarities. We will be talking about a lot of series. Picard that's coming out in January. I'll be getting up on that, all up on that. I'm going to be riding that bald head, playing with it, touching it in inappropriate ways. I haven't watched The Watchmen yet because I don't have HBO anymore because I'm broke as a joke on coke. But I guess that rewinds to what I'm saying before about a snow stream. But I'm not sticking my head on the table. But I just happen to be going through a broke string right now because of a lack of working quite as much because of creative ventures. So I haven't been able to re-sign up for my HBO. I had to decide if I wanted to go the HBO Go right now or try to go the Disney route to watch The Mandalorian. And I chose. I made a choice. I'm not saying whether I chose correctly or poorly because I hear both series, or I've seen one of them. Both series are well done from what I've heard. But I don't have HBO currently right now to catch up on that, but I will be watching The Watchmen at some point. Yes, and I will be discussing it. But for now, For now, I'm just useless. What am I out here for? This is why I haven't been out here. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I talking about? I don't have anything to say. I'm just going to come out here and rant and rave and talk about talking for an hour now. That's basically what I'm going to do. Oh, we got some good fucking friends right here. Oh, ideas of Ice Fight. We got Quinn in the live motherfucking chat. Yes, Picard is coming, and I can't believe it, and I'm very excited for it. I'm trying to and this is just, everyone else can kind of step out for a second. I want to talk to Quinn. I'm trying to stay as centered as possible about it because I don't want my over expectations to slap me across my face as it happened with many things I've watched in my life, where I build it up. I'm like, this is going to be the greatest thing of all time. Yes, better than Cassius Clay, better than Sugar Ray, better than New Boy Mike Tyson. It's going to be the greatest thing of all time, right? I'm going to love it. It's going to touch me in all my Star Trek places. We're going to get mentioning of how the Cisco has returned from his date with the prophets. We're going to get to see all that effing information. But no. It's going to be focusing on new characters, and Picard and Data are going to be background things, just walking around going, I'm Captain Picard, I'm Data. I just want to make sure of that before because I'm knee deep in that stuff. I'm jumping in head first, swimming through the Picard waters with a big smile on my face in hopes that it's going to be good. And I know Patrick Stewart wouldn't do, at least I'd like to think at this point in his career, he wouldn't do shit. I have seen Conspiracy Theory. I know Patrick Stewart can do shit. He has done shit before. He's usually not shit in the shit. I mean, he was in X-Men 3 too. So, I mean, there is history to show of Patrick Stewart not necessarily doing all the best projects. But I don't think he would uncover this character again unless the script actually moved him, and I trust his opinions. That being said, I hope it's not Scrubs the new season-ish, or the new cast-ish, where we have Picard there, like we have Dr. Cox there or something, and we have all these new characters around him where we get occasional, hey, look, there's Riker hanging out at his house, and Picard's going to stop by there because he needs that one piece of information that Riker has, and then we don't see Riker again. If Riker's going to be in it, I want him to be a character. If we have Data's a little different, because if Data's some part of Picard's brain, the aeromotic syndrome taking over, and he's visualizing things through Data, making him go insane. We've seen that a lot in television and movies these days. But I would be interested in seeing that. I think I just want to see Brent Spiner play Data again, and I don't care how or what it happens. You know, he's playing Data. You know, like that kind of thing's going on with me right now. Things I didn't think I'd ever see again. You know, Data in the whole stuff. But that being said, I'm trying to stay pure in my perspective because I go in things and I watch them better when I watch them in a way of, this could be okay, rather than going, this is going to be the greatest thing of all time. Very few times in my life have I built things up and then have them actually feel that powerful against my backside. No, no matter what, there's certain things. My biggest example of this, and this is a horrible example because it's considered one of the worst games of all time, is Superman 64. I remember I come off playing Ocarina of Time, which is one of my favorite games of all time. You know, 3D environment. I'm like, Zelda works in a 3D environment. Mario 64 works in a 3D environment. Everything's gonna work in a 3D environment. I went out and was so hyped up. I got 2 games that I thought were gonna be amazing: Castlevania 64 and Superman 64. I was like, 3D environments is where it's at. And then I played them, and we all know how that fucking went. Hey, Walking David, we don't talk about Scrubs Season 9. It never happened. The Scrubs, the Franco brother was never on there. Is Picard for adults? Picard's going to be for adults. I want TNG 2. Me too. That's what I want. I want continuation. Actually, I want more than just get a haircut, you hippie. I actually want to make sure, or what I would want more than anything, it's kind of what I wanted with the movies, and I believe I drunkly talked to you about this at some point in time, Quinn, at one of the last 2 years at the party or something. But what I wish they did with the Star Trek The Next Generation movies was make it all 3 of those casts, because I feel as much as I think, Brent Spiner and Patrick Stewart are amazing actors, I don't think they're movie stars. And people are like, well, Patrick Stewart, X-Men. But he's part of a ensemble cast. I don't think Patrick Stewart alone as Patrick Stewart sells a Hollywood blockbuster movie. Or if he does, I don't think it should have been all of them. What I really want, and what I wanted from the movies, and what I want here, is a continuation of that timeline. I don't care if it's just Next Generation. I'm not the biggest Voyager fan in the world, but seeing Jerry Ryan there as 7 of 9 makes me more hopeful, because that's kind of the shit I want to see. I want to see them stop by Deep Space Nine and see General Kira, or Vedic Kira if you watch the documentary. And I want to see what's going on over there. I want to see if Quark's still there. I have to see if Quark's still there. I want to know that Neelix is dead. That's what I want to know. I want to know that Neelix is gone and dead, and I never have to see his little furry ass again. I want to see that Chakotay actually said something interesting. I guess my point is, I think there's a big well to mine. I'm confusing comparisons here. A big well to pluck the water out of. That doesn't sound right either. There's a big fucking well of lots of good characters and lots of good possibilities you can go with Picard. And if you're dealing with the Borg as a major adversary and as a major force in this series, and what I'm seeing is maybe that little girl is half Borg, the rebirth of the Borg Queen. I don't know where the fuck they're going with it, right? Wherever the fuck they're going with it, I hope that we don't just focus on new characters, and I also hope that it's, as much as I love Next Generation and I think it has the finest of all of the episodes of those 3 series, Deep Space Nine I think has the best arc of a whole story. I think Next Generation has some of the top episodes, and I think it's mixed in, and I think Voyager is good. I don't think I've ever said that before, but I think Voyager is good. I think there's some good arcs and there's good storylines in Voyager. Enterprise, I don't talk about that often, and okay, we'll do that. We'll not talk about it often, unless I'm talking about how much I love Quantum Leap. It's the only time I really reference Enterprise, but we'll still pass that graveyard. And then we got Discovery, and if I see those Klingons anywhere near Picard, I am going to piss on my television screen. I don't care. I'm going to do it. Yeah, it ended in the hallway at Sacred Heart, goddammit. It ended in my finale, which was one of the good, people always often talk about good finales. The final episode of Scrubs was really well done. And I would say that whole season 8 was back to what Scrubs should be, whereas I think some of those middle seasons became a little bit too much of a cartoon. That being said, Tom motherfucking himself is in there. We got, I didn't see Bridge 4, and I love you, Bridge 4. Great to see you, buddy. And can't wait to talk to you on the stream at some point. Quinn, I will obviously ask you live on a show, so I hope to get you on here at some point, or you and me can connect, even privately, not on air, and talk about some Picard at some point in time really soon. I'm going to be doing some stuff with a good friend that I have from college as well, named Miss Smith. We'll call her for now, until she tells me what she wants to be called. But I'm excited to talk to her about this stuff as well. And she is one of the organizers of a Star Trek convention in New York City, or a party in association to the Star Trek convention in New York City. So we'll get her talking about all that stuff as well here as we get into Picard in January. And what I've been putting off way too long on this channel, considering how we're going through a boat in an ocean, and I'm looking for things that make me excited right now to talk about. I need to talk about some more Star Trek. So, great to see everyone. Great to see Bridge. Great to see Santovia Major, Walking David, all our good friends. Walking David, got to get your ass on here very soon. I am alive. I've been stuck in the theater. People don't know, as I was babbling before, my other commitment is I'm doing a play, and I am I don't know why I have to say it like that. Why can't I just be confident about it? I'm doing a play, damn it. And I am one of the lead characters in the play, so it's a big responsibility. It's a big time commitment. And so it's taking up a lot of days and a lot of hours. Anyone out there that's ever done a play before, and I'm sure everyone has, whether it's in high school, college, or out of high school and college on some street corner somewhere where you're yelling at people, it's a big commitment when you go into it. And I was lucky enough to kind of get cast in a production, and I'm excited and having fun doing it, but it does have me a little like, I'm crazy. I'm trying to remember like 60 pages of words to actually memorize things, and then I'm trying to learn choreography for a sword fight. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm doing some fencing in one scene, similar to the Princess Bride scene, where, the fight between Wesley and Inigo Montoya. There's some similarities to the choreography mixed in there. So I'm doing all of that, which is causing me to be, at the end of the night when I come home from all of that, like this. And then I'm like, I gotta do a show. Hi, everybody. And I've come out here and almost started things a few times, but, you know. So when all of that flushes itself down my life toilet, I will make sure, and I'm also going to make sure I come out here more too, because this is too much fun for me. Even out here now, what is it, like 10 minutes I'm out here just babbling for 10 minutes and knowing that I'm like talking like this, I feel less bad for all the people. I feel more bad for the people that I have to talk to in everyday life right now. My good friends, my loved ones that have to deal with me on an everyday basis, because if I don't have this venue, if I don't have, you wonderful folks out there in the motherfucking chat and my good friends out there, the other creators that are out there checking this out, if I didn't have you guys right here to listen to me and to share this insanity, I would destroy every relationship I have in my life, because I just can't stop. Right now I'm like, hey everybody, you want to talk about TV? Oh everybody, I want to talk to you about the Mandalorian. Hey, I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you about Picard. I'm like stopping people on the streets and babbling to them when I am in my wake hours. So I think I'm missing you. I think I miss you. Okay. Surprise stream. I am alive, Tom. The surprise is that I'm actually streaming. That's the fucking surprise. And it's less about the streaming. It's more like setting it up and doing like to go like way too much information. Like setting it up. Like, what am I going to talk about? I got to set up the stream. I got to make a thumbnail. I got to make tags. Like all that stupid shit is getting in the way of me talking. So enough of that crap. I don't care if I have 2 people watching. I'm going to be coming out here sometimes and talking. I'm lucky that I have folks that are bigger or more popular than me that come here and check out this channel or share me with their groups of amazing people that they have watching stuff. It's the only way I get people watching me, because I suck at this, Like I suck at the spreading the word or keeping things up. So just ask any girl that knows me. I suck at keeping things up. Bum. Hey! Sorry, I know I'm not funny, but I don't care. I'm having fun. Please kill Neelix. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. That's all he's asking for. I'm sad of being sick. I'm sick of being poor. I had a little luck and I had a little bit more. We want to kill Neelix because he's a dirty whore. That's all we're asking for. Anyone know what that is from? Does anyone have any knowledge of what All I'm Asking For, the song All I'm Asking For, is from? I don't know, do ya? I don't know, do ya? Do ya, fucking kids? Do ya, you mad fucker? I just want to kill Neelix. Neelix is so... The only thing that Neelix would be good for... No, I'm just going to say the worst joke ever. Like, literally the worst joke ever, because I'm pathetically awful. I was going to say something along the lines, the only thing Neelix is good is for wiping your nose when you have a cold. Because Neelix and Kleenex. But then I thought to myself that actually the way how fuzzy Neelix is, he's like a fuzzy was a bear like me. With how fuzzy Neelix is, he actually probably would be good to wipe your nose on. But let me continue with the live motherfucking chat, because you guys are fucking amazing. I can't believe it. I see spots. I think Voyager is kind of bad. Tolerable at times. I tried to say the word. I think when you hit it on the head right there, you hit the Klingon right on the head right there. But I think Voyager at times is horrible, but it has good arcs. Like Year of Hell, for instance. I believe that's with Red Foreman. I could be wrong about that. But I think like Year of Hell is an interesting 3-episode arc. I think certain things are interesting. I think Voyager, the problem with Voyager, I've talked about this before, is its lost opportunity. Wasted talent, for instance. When you have Kate Mulgrew, who's an amazing actress, when you watch Orange is the New Black, I don't care how bad you think that show gets, Red is always amazing on it. I was talking to somebody about that this week. Red is an incredible character. She's an incredible actress that has an extreme range of emotions. Janeway has one emotion. Listen, Mr. Paris, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. I'm always right, because I'm Janeway. It's just shitty that the way they put her in a box. And I think it limits that cast in some ways, because Janeway's always right, and everyone else is always wrong. And then it's always about the cast learning that Janeway is right, and there's no real battle. I think Neelix sucks and fails in the way that Whoopi and Quark work. I think the Doctor is good. I know not everyone's a fan of Kevin Arnold's gym teacher, but I like Robert Picard, whatever his name is, as the Doctor. I think he works in that role. I think Chakotay is an intensely, horribly boring character. I think Tom Paris should have been the same kid that Wesley Crusher got when they got in trouble at school for doing that flying 8 thing. I think it should have been the same goddamn character, okay? But I think Tom Paris is all right, okay? And I think B'Elanna's all right. 7 of 9 is good. Kess, or whatever the hell that character name was that was there before 7 of 9, sucks pathetic bumhole out of Beavis's butt. You know, there's certain characters that are just uninteresting on that show. That being said, as I said, I think Jerry Ryan is very good on the show, and she looks very good too. But I think she is good on the show, and I think there are some good storylines with some of the weird things that they go through on Voyager. But I think the cast doesn't have the chemistry that the other two casts have. I think Kate Mulgrove is the weakest of the 3 captains too. But Phil, Cisco wasn't a captain. I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up. Weird voice in my head. Maybe he wasn't a captain for the first few seasons of that show, but he's the best of them all. No, I don't know about that. Him and Patrick Stewart 1 and 1A for me, because I think Avery Brooks is such an amazing actor, and I think he brings so much energy to that role, and I think he brings so much gravitas that him and Patrick Stewart both seem like the best of the Starfleet captains. And right from the pain that you feel from him in that moment, and the way that they associate that Deep Space Nine, that first episode, with the fact that Picard's responsible in some ways for Sisko's wife's death, it's intense as shit. And I kind of wish that Patrick Stewart showed back up. And another reason why I hope Avery Brooks shows up somewhere on Picard to have a secondary connection to that first scene we get on Deep Space Nine. But I think Voyager, if you ever watched the Captain's documentary that was made by William Shatner, or made by Star Trek people, but hosted by William Shatner, and he has a lot to do with it. He interviews all the captains, including Chris Pine, which is very interesting. And I think Scott Bakula and Kate Mulgrove have very interesting perspectives about their cast. Bakula talks a lot about how they didn't have the time, and he didn't do a good enough job organizing, associating, completing his whole cast, and making his cast feel like one entity. He said part of the problem was he had already done his big show with Quantum Leap, so he wasn't giving it the time and the attention that it deserved. Amen to you, Bakula, for knowing that. Kate Mulgrove mentions that she at the time was dealing with, I think, a divorce, and dealing with raising a kid, and dealing with the fact that she felt at the time she was neither a good actress nor a good mother, and didn't bring the kind of performance that she wanted to in the character in Voyager. And you know what? I fucking agree, and I love that kind of perspective. You know what? I haven't been committed enough to my show lately, and I suck because of it. That's me telling me I do that. I don't need you to tell me that. I don't need anybody to think that. I need to know inside myself that my performance wasn't ideal. And I think that's how you become better. It's when you start sniffing your own farts too much with whatever you do in life, which whatever your talents are, when you start thinking too much, you're the best. I'm not saying lacking self-confidence, but when you think too much, yeah, I'm the best around, hold me back. It's a surefire excuse to start sucking, you know, and start being too comfortable in your bullshit. And I think that happens a lot with rock bands when they reach the point where they're a little bit too popular, and we need to try new things and get away from what made us good. No, you don't need to go away from what makes you good, Red Hot Chili Peppers. You need to do punk and funk. You need to do songs like Party on My Pussy. You don't need to do songs like By the Way. Shut the fuck up. I know someone out there, it's like a new Chili Pepper fan's like, what do you mean, Phil? New Chili Pepper songs are good. No, they're not. Freaky Styley, Uplift, Mofo, Party Plan, Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Mother's Milk, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're the only albums that count. The rest suck. Yeah, and I'm talking about One Hot Minute too. Anyways, but yes, that rant was brought to you by Quinn's I Think Voyager is kind of terrible at times, tolerable at times. They should have done the birth of the Borg in Discovery. They still might, now that they've traveled back in time. Let's go back. Discovery can die. The best thing I can say about Discovery is, no, the actor that played Pike was good. And I thought he was good on the show. And I think everything that they did dealing with the original cast, the original Enterprise stuff, was tolerable. And I enjoyed it. Klingons are the most awful thing that they ever did on that show. And I think the actor that's, what's his name, Malfoy from season 1, Lorca, was that the character's name? Maybe I don't know. I'm pushing shit up. I think he was a decent character too. I think what's awful about Discovery is just the design of it. And I think, I don't know, I'll talk about Discovery more when Discovery comes back, because I'm still watching it, but it's one of those things I'm watching and I'm like, this isn't very good. This isn't very good. It looks decent. So CBS All Access really brought out all the stops. And I know, someone said this to me the other day, I understand that Orville is not Star Trek. I'm not calling it Star Trek. It's something completely different. I like both shows, but Orville is the superior show. If this is a battle, this is a Pokemon battle, because yes, I'm playing Pokemon right now. This is a Pokemon battle between ground type Orville and lightning type Discovery. No, it's Orville kicks its ass. Let's blaze up, motherfucking chat. I know, Tom. I have to go somewhere after this. I'm like holding back my hippie activities right now. I'm like, ugh. So why don't you do it for me, Tom? Oh, he's an actor. Oh, he's a fucking actor, this fucking Phil. Oh, that's where the fuck his fucking shit has been. He's a fucking actor. I'm not a very good one. I'm a fun one. I'm a fun actor. Listen, to be or not to be. If anyone's ever seen the show, the play, I Hate Hamlet, or heard of it, that's the play that I'm doing. I am the part of Andrew in I Hate Hamlet. And if anyone wants to come to the Boston area and check that out, you can do that on January 10th. It's running from January 10th to January 26th on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. For any of you Boston folks. Ho, motherfucking ho, Tommy. For me, Tom. Oh, yes. Phil ran out of his fancy hair conditioner. Gotta go. 15 poop. Oh, gotta go. Poop on The Walking Dead in a bit. I know. I'll get to this. That's all we're asking for. Cannibal the Musical by Trey Parker. Thank you, Frubius. Frubius wins fucking 2 points today. Chakotay was meh. Kate was not great, Dwarf Burger. Even she knew she wasn't great. Devin, you've been harassing me about this Voyager stuff. You know how to get under my skin. I believe there is a episode of my old radio show at Salem State when I had you on as a guest, where I'm just yelling at you for 2 hours about how much I hate Voyager, and you're trying to defend it. I don't know if you're trolling or you really believe these things. I think that could be the subtitle of my whole experience with you, Devin. Phil, can you get a baby Yoda puppet for Kate to come on the show? Maybe in a year. I don't think they have any Baby Yoda puppets quite yet. I think I got to give credit to Disney for not trying to go too crazy on the marketing for Baby Yoda before Baby Yoda was a thing, because they very easily could. So many movies these days, they come out, you can like see the toys before the movies come out, so you can get spoilers from the toys. Disney very successfully in this situation. I don't think that they've put out a lot of Baby Yoda merchandise. Most of the Baby Yoda stuff you see now are memes or people that are like putting pictures of Baby Yoda on a pop socket or a fucking pin or some shit like that. I don't think it's actually coming from Disney. People can correct me if I'm wrong and send me links. Wait, Phil, here we go. They had it ready. But I think Disney held it back a little bit in threat to honor the series, showing us what's what. Chakotay was awful. He really was. Because he's the character that had the most potential to make the series interesting. That's what I wanted to say, and I'll drop the Star Trek thing in a second here and bounce over to The Walking Dead. The Voyager thing, the biggest problem with Voyager, the wasted opportunity, because you set up so much great stuff in the other two series leading into the whole Maquis, Cardassian border Federation problem thing that you had led up in that situation. So, if you had taken the first couple of episodes even, or at least the first half of the first season, and make it almost a war on board between the Maquis and the Federation people in trying to take over control of the ship. Maybe even you start off as the captain dies and Kate Mulgrove and Janeway is the second in command. So Chakotay is one of those old Star Trek captains that she has to convince, she has to kind of take over for, because a lot of the people are looking to him, but he's really one of the Maquis, so it doesn't matter. I don't know, I'm just making shit up as I go, but with the whole Maquis situation, the way you had set it up, you had the potential for so many more interesting things. But instead, you made Chakotay just, okay, I'll do whatever you say, Janeway. You had him maybe be mildly half interesting for the first half of the pilot, and then they just sucked all of that up and they made him the most useless character, most just blank toast level character. He just sucks. Oh yes, yeah, water. Oh yes, he was just awful, very awful. Let's say the doctor just yelled every time. Red Squadron, thank you, Red Squadron. Phil, where the fuck have you been? I know, that's a good question. Where the fuck have I been? And you can even throw an asshole in there. I don't mind. You can if you wanna call me names, be like, listen, asshole, where the fuck have you been? I miss you. If that ever happens again, feel free. Send me messages, cards, letters, rocks against my windows. Tell me I'm letting you down. Get your ass out here. You can send me Arnold Schwarzenegger memes with get your ass to Mars. Listen, Phil, get your ass to Mars. It's the best mindfuck yet, Cole Hagen. You can send shit like that. It's fine. I've been too busy. Life has been ridiculously suspecty, crazy busy. I've been making things difficult for myself. So, and I'm playing with my hair. No, I've been making things difficult for myself. So I'm glad to be out here again babbling to you guys. And I will, as always, when I take breaks, I will try to make the breaks less and less. But sometimes it just can't be helped. 7 and 9 save the show, better arcs and better story. I agree. I think Jerry Ryan added a whole level of interestingness to that show, regardless of how much eye candy she was. She was a very interesting character that brought the Borg dynamic into the show in an interesting way. That being said, I think by the end of the series, they had depowered the Borg a little bit too much to make them... so they had to wait a long time before you make them legitimate adversaries again with species 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 3. The numbers! Whatever that species was, that was the Borg's kryptonite. And I think the way you had basically Janeway destroy the Borg and so many queens came in, I think it got a little convoluted, but I think initially when you bring 7 and 9 into there, it did add a different dynamic that made things a little bit more interesting. So let me keep going. For some reason, make the leaders, they suck. Avery overacted. Oh, yes, he overacted at times. What are you talking about? Avery Brooks never overacted. Yeah, he did. He totally did. He's an overactor. I accept that. So is Shatner, though. And Shatner's the fucking best. So fuck you. But yes, Avery Brooks is a notoriously overactor. He's a stage actor that's found himself in TV, whether it be Spencer for Hire or movies like American History X or Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And I mean, he's been in other things too, but he is, when you hear his voice and you see his mannerisms, I would love to see Avery Brooks doing Shakespeare live on stage, because that voice and the way he does and moves and crazy. So yes, he is a notorious overactor, but I think it works for Sisko in some ways. In the episode Far Beyond the Stars, when he's like, it's a vision, when he's like losing his mind there, or even in By the Pale Moonlight, the way he's talking to the television or breaking the fifth wall, and the way he's kind of looking at you and doing his overacting stuff, I think works for the character of Sisko. And I think within the character of Sisko, they know how to bring him down sometimes. He's down. But yes, Avery can overact, no doubt, especially in the early seasons when they won't let him be bald and have a beard. I've been watching The Watchmen and Dark. I hear good things about Dark Materials. Phil, what about the live comedies? Commentaries. I want to see a movie with the motherfucking chat, you dirty ass hippie. I will try to do those again. I think I'm going to have to change the way I do them a little bit. Now you can see behind me, since the last time, I have seats in here now, so I can kind of set up seats, and I have Nancy T's wonderful blanket serving as my cushions. So I can start doing some more live watches in here while I watch other stuff. I can't do it through the mirror anymore, because just a little heads up, if anyone has watched any of those old ones we've done, a lot of them are being retroactively blocked as someone's figuring out what I was doing. So I will bring those back at some point soon, some live commentaries and some video game stuff too. I just need to get my setup. It's weird. Even though I've been living in this new area for about a year now, it's like almost a year, I'm still like just feeling comfortable in the room. compared to the other room that I was in for like 4 years. So once I figure everything out a little bit, I will be doing some more live commentaries here. I'm gonna get Joe Dirty Locks over here to binge watch the season of The Mandalorian, and then we're gonna talk about the show afterwards. So maybe we can live watch the final episode with him or something like that. We'll figure out some cool stuff to do, especially once Joe's back up off the injured list. So Regina King is fucking Dr. Manhattan. Chakotay should have been a good character. Black Robin, absolutely, he should have been. Because again, the Maquis was such an interesting setup. Even like what they did with Eddington on Deep Space Nine was pretty interesting, and all the stuff they did on Next Generation with some of the old cast members, the older actors that they had come in and wasn't Sisko's dad on there or something playing? Whatever. I think you could have done cool things with Chakotay, and they chose not to. And it's stupid. A Native American Starfleet officer that's a Maquis, and I would add the extra element of that's a Maquis, is so interesting. And instead they did stereotypical bullshit. They did it just wasn't good. It just wasn't. I'm like, it just wasn't good. It was gross. And I got to get the Dwarf Burger over here as well to watch something live with me at some point. The live motherfucking chat member, Dwarf Burger Swamp Beard. It's been too long. We're going to get Dwarf Burger over here soon, sometime over the winter. Phil, you sexy fart-smelling bastard. How do you know? How do you know I've been busting some ass all day? Katrina, Princess of the Garden. Welcome to the silliness. I don't know what kind of intro that was. And then it pops up on the screen, unsubscribed from this channel of nonsense. It's like, if you think you'll miss it. Yes. Orville is Trek. Yertle the turtle. Thank you, Centovia, for making a real Chili Peppers reference. Smoking. Discovery can die. I agree, says Dwarf Burger to Quinn's comment. Orville is Trek more than Discovery. It feels more like the Trek that people know. If we're using Trek as an adjective here, Star Trek as an adjective or an adverb, no, not adjective. I learned English. Then I would agree. Star Trek, Orville is more Trek than Discovery. Discovery has some visual entertaining aspects sometimes, or some character moments that I don't hate. And I think season 2, again, they learned from some of their mistakes, but it's still, I like Saru, and I liked Lorca, and I like Pike. That's just about it. I want Discovery to be canceled and done with, and we see a Pike series. That's the only way that they can take anything good from the turd that is Discovery. And I've come on here and I've talked good about Discovery at times because I'm very television Stockholm syndrome sometimes in the moment when I'm watching something, and it takes me a little bit more wider angle perspective to really think about how I feel about something. And I have to admit, people that know me and know my Star Trek fandom, at first I would be like, yeah, it's better than Enterprise. I'm not sure anymore. I don't know. That's the question for me and for some of you Star Trek fans that hate both series. Not the ones that like love Enterprise and are like, Phil, you fucking suck. They're those that dislike both series and think both series aren't quite up to par. Which is worse, Discovery or Enterprise? I know most people probably say Discovery because you have some of the actors come over, but that end of Enterprise, even if you were into that final season of Enterprise when it kind of got all right and the Xindi arc was all right too, when you kind of got into that final season and they're kind of doing good, and then you end it all with Riker's fat ass sitting there in the holodeck scenario. I don't know. That's some like next level shit balls slapping you across the face there. It's like every ending thinks they can do that because Newhart did it well. You know, like, I mean, St. Elsewhere had an interesting version of that as well, but I think the only one that really worked like that was the Newhart, going back to the Bob Newhart show, where it was all a dream in Bob Newhart's mind. I think that's the only one of those that works. I think every other one, I want to tell them to go fuck themselves, right? You know, where it's like, come on, you're telling me this was all fucking nothing? You're telling JR was just dreaming the whole time, and you made me deal with this bullshit? You're telling me, like, we don't care who killed Eric Cartman's mom, you know, or who's Eric Cartman's mom. The father's the mom? What are you fucking saying to me here, assholes? At least in my opinion. Phil, what's the name of your play that I'm in? It's called I Hate Hamlet, Jay. It's about an actor, it's a television actor, whose television show was canceled, and he goes to New York, and through a series of events, he's forced to play Hamlet, and he's haunted by a ghost of the actor John Barrymore, who has to convince him and show him what it's like to be Hamlet. But it's a comedy, so yes. So that is what the play is about, and that's what it's called. Thank you. I hope to break several people's legs. That's the hope. I have not been watching Rick and Morty, and the problem with me not watching Rick and Morty is I haven't seen any of Rick and Morty yet. And I know, click, shut off this asshole. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't know good TV. I haven't watched it and not liked it. I have yet to watch the series because you ever have a series where you know's awesome, you know you have it in the back burner to watch at some point in time. You know you have it like locked and loaded, but you just for whatever reason you don't pull the trigger and you're saving it. I'm saving that for like a really sick day when I'm stuck and I'm like sick in bed for a week to binge watch the whole thing. I've heard nothing but great things. I love Back to the Future. I love the animation style from what I've seen. I'm excited for the Lower Decks series that's coming on CBS All Access, created by one of the Rick and Morty creators, I believe, that's doing this next Star Trek series. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about Rick and Morty, but I haven't watched it yet. So I cannot speak to it, so I'm not quite knee deep in it, but it is on the list of shows that I've heard nothing but amazing things from people whose opinion I highly trust. Excuse me. Hey, Jordy the Jedi. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Star Wars is dead. Let it die. Let it die! We're going to talk about Star Wars in a second here, Dwarf Burger. And it may be dead. It may be dead to some people. The movies may have suspect issues. I'm going to see I already saw The Last Jedi. I'm going to see the final Skywalker trilogy movie on the 20th. I will be there the second day it's available. But I've found something, spoiler alert, although not perfect, I have found something in the Star Wars universe that I like. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Are you about to spoil The Mandalorian for me? No. This will be a non-spoiler discussion about The Mandalorian when I get into it. Non-spoilers, except for maybe one spoiler that you've probably seen a million times over and over again about a certain little character that everyone's in love with. So I will be mentioning The Mandalorian. Maybe if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, I would maybe turn this off, but I'll give you pre-warning on talking about it. But I am going to be mentioning some stuff about The Mandalorian in a second here. Okay. I would have, when they were Herman Toys came out before the show. There's a good show, series on Netflix, The Toys That Made Us, that's out right now, that especially the Ninja Turtles one I found very entertaining. So I'm trying to make it through the chat here. The Force will never die. Hey, Callie. Star Trek, like every other franchise, is suffering from an overdose of identity politics. Catch you later. I'm out. X Swordstone. See you soon. See you at the party, Richter. I have not been watching Watchmen yet just because I simply don't have HBO at the moment, but I will be catching up to the Watchmen at some point, and I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. The Borg became a mere nuisance. Exactly, Devin. Dwarf Burger. Exactly, Dwarf Burger. It became just like, oh, the Borg's here. Let's get some raid. Zzz. Let's get it out of here. Instead of actually being a problem. And I'd say The Walking Dead suffers from the same sort of situation for different reasons. But when the big entity that's supposed to be the big problem becomes nothing more than a nuisance, you lose a lot of the balls of the series. Are we going to cover The Witcher? I'm going to watch The Witcher, the first episode. It is on Netflix. I have Netflix. I have access to it. I also already don't like how that every series that is coming out nowadays has to be immediately attempted to be compared to Game of Thrones because we need to find the next Game of Thrones. They tried that shit with The Sopranos and it didn't work until you stopped talking that shit and then Breaking Bad finally came out. You can't make another something. You need to wait for the something to do it itself. Stop saying, ooh, the fight scenes are better than Game of Thrones. This is better than Game... I don't want to talk about that. We're going to talk about Game of Thrones again here on this channel. The prequel series is coming out. Book's going to come out. And I'm just going to make up random topics to talk about Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones. It's up there as one of my favorite franchise series. Blah, 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 blah. That being said, I hate when shows, whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, whatever, I hate when someone uses something as a descriptive term. You're going to like this. And I'm not talking about people, like a person talking to another person. I'm talking about headline, posty, the shit that's been out fight scenes better than Game of Thrones. Okay, because Game of Thrones is really always about the fight scenes. You know, what really made that first season awesome was how well choreographed that Ned and Jaime fight was. No one gives a fuck. Yes, the Arthur Dayne sword fight was done really well. Yes, the choreography is amazing in Game of Thrones. But what made Game of Thrones an awesome series for most people was the politics, was the bullshit, was the sticking to the text and the deepness and the subtextual bullshit of the characters and the houses and the association and all that intertwining battle. The actual sword fighting, the actual fight choreography, as important as it can be, was little to no importance. You know, you could have shown a lot of that stuff on the background and not have gone as in depth on it on the show. And if it was still a high quality show, it would have been great. I mean, I think, yes, things like, you know, Stannis attacking the battle for the King's Landing in season 3 or 2, whatever. I'm rusty on my Game of Thrones discussions. The Battle of the Blackwater was very well choreographed and very awesome, but I'm never going to, personally, this is me, if I'm thinking about the amazing things about Game of Thrones, the first thing I don't think about has anything to do with the fighting. Yes, the Mountain versus the Viper was an excellently, at least the first time you watch it, and the more you watch it, the less it is, but it was excellently choreographed the first time I watched it. I loved it, but again, that's not the selling point of the series. Stop, and not you, not anyone that's listening to this now, reporters that are writing articles to try to hype something up, stop hyping things up by saying it's better than this aspect. Like, I don't give a fuck. Is The Witcher going to be good? Is it going to be good acting? Is Henry Cavill going to actually not be wooden for the first time in any performance I've ever seen him in? Because I personally have not seen anything Henry Cavill's done that I like yet. Fuck Man of Steel. Fuck him as Superman. He fucking sucked. I'd rather see Brandon Routh playing fucking him or Jerry O'Connell. I think they were all both better fucking Superman than freaking stupid head there. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Henry Cavill. I don't know what to expect from that series. Am I going to be watching it? Hell yeah. And am I going to be talking about it in here? Yes. Whether I talk about the whole series as a whole or really dig in deeper is yet to be discovered, but I am excited for that. I think it has potential, but I'm very apprehensive with Netflix big epic series like this because I remember Marco Polo and I didn't like it. And I also know that video game franchise adaptations aren't always good. And I think Castlevania was good if you're into anime, and I think there's a few other ones that Mortal Kombat maybe, Street Fighter if you're into cheesy bullshit, Super Mario Brothers movie if you're into masochistic ways. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it that they can be a really high quality superhero franchise type of thing. And don't bring me Tomb Raider. Don't do that. Don't stop. And don't say Scott Pilgrim vs. the World either, because that doesn't count. That's more of a comic book franchise than a video game franchise. And the other thing would be like Fred there, or what do you call it? Freaking John, what the fuck is his name? The 2 Disney animated movies, part 1 and part 2, the Disney Princess. Wreck-It Ralph, Fred. I think Wreck-It Ralph were good movies too for video games situations, but whatever. But yes, am I going to cover The Witcher? Yes, I will. I will be talking about The Witcher. The Shad is the boy. Back to work. I love you all. Santovia, I won't stay away for as long. I miss you too much, and I feel like an asshole not making your Sunday nights a little bit more goofy. So I will be back soon. Hope Soprano videos aren't blocked. Some of them are. Some of the Sopranos ones are blocked. I got word of that some of those are done with. But that being said, Matt, who lives a little bit further away, have been talking about finding excuses to get back at that too. So we will try to get back to Sopranos. And we got a Sopranos movie coming up pretty soon. Can't watch Mandalorian not after The Last Jedi. Come on. It has nothing to do with The Last Jedi. It has more to do with Return of the Jedi than The Last Jedi. Because it's post Return of the Jedi, before Force Awakens. So it's in that little window, and it has more association to original trilogy stuff than anything to do with the prequel or the new trilogy. So if you're somewhat of a fan, again, let me shift over to Mandalorian in a second here. But if you're not watching it because someone's not watching Mandalorian because they hate the new sequels here, there's better reasons to stay away. You know, it feels to me more like I'm watching a version of one of the animated series things, or even a visual representation of kind of the tone of Knights of the Old Republic, where we're actually in a living, breathing world. Is it perfect? No, some lines are cheesy. Some depth isn't quite there because it's Star Wars and it's surfacey at times because it's Star Wars. But that's okay. That's okay. But is the action actually, do I feel something from the action? Yes. Do I feel excitement from it? Okay, I do. Does it make me laugh in those parts where Star Wars should make me laugh? Yes, it does. Does it make me feel cutesy at times? Yes, it does. It's fucking Star Wars. But is it as... I don't know. It feels more like a real take in this world. I feel like not each episode is better, but I think each episode has something in it that I enjoy. I enjoy the performance of Pedro Pascal. I think he gets a lot of performance, even though he's under that mask. I think maybe... I wonder if we're going to see him at some point in time, but I think it's a funny series. It has some good humor to it. I don't think all the acting on it is exceptionally well done, but I think it's a well-produced series and feels like it's in a grittier world than I've seen before in Star Wars, to the way that I've only seen in the video games. Slight spoiler alert, that battle droid was amazing. One of the best parts of the entire series. I could have dealt with a whole episode of that battle droid that popped up. I think it was in episode 2. My biggest problem with the series is I feel like it's going in an 8-episode arc, right? Here, this first season 8-episode arc. I feel like it should have been all released as 8 episodes for a binge watch. When I'm watching it, having now being on, I don't even know what fucking year I want to say of the binge watch era of television, right? For me, it's a little longer because I stole on a TV for a while through like tvlinks.edu back in the day, or the original Hulu or something. So I would be binge watching stuff even before the binge watching age started. But I think in this binge watching age that we live in, for television shows, certain TV shows can feel like they're still set up week to week. Something like Better Call Saul, for instance. You watch Better Call Saul or Vikings or The Walking Dead, they still feel to me like they're in another era of TV. They feel like they're episodes that should, you feel like it's a single episode and you need to wait a week to watch the next episode. You watch a show like Daredevil, for instance, on Netflix, or I'm just going to say Daredevil, The Boys on Amazon, right? Both those series feel to me like you're meant to watch the next episode right into the episode. The Mandalorian to me feels like that. It feels like it's set up as most of the people are going to watch it after these 8 weeks are done, and they're going to binge watch the whole series and kind of watch it as a whole. And if you haven't watched it yet, I'd say to wait another month, get your Disney Plus free trial, and then binge watch all 8 episodes in, a half a day, right? Because they're about 35 to 45 minute episodes. And I think the series will feel a little bit more complete and probably have a little bit more meaning to it. I think each episode does have its own universe and its own world. And that's not what I'm saying. I feel like they don't do previews at the end. I don't know. I feel like I would enjoy the series more as a binge watching it rather than watching week to week and then having to wait a whole week for the next chapter, because things feel somewhat incomplete. Usually if you're doing a show where you're doing week to week, you still have a 3-act sort of structure within your show. I feel like Mandalorian, in a sense, we're still in the first half of the act leading to the final act of this season. And I feel like it could all come together. And that's my biggest criticism of it. Isn't necessarily in how the show's being produced and stuff that's happening on it. The acting is uneven at times in some ways, but I think works at other times. I think the CG is better looking than the Star Wars movies. I would say visually, I like the look of this better than I like any of the JJ trilogy or any of the prequel trilogy. I think visually it looks, again, to me more like the original trilogy, the way it visually looks. You have a couple of moments of CD garbage on screen, fighting CG garbage, but whatever. That it doesn't bother me quite as much as it does where you have a whole planet of CG garbage, or something like that. I think it looks and feels a little bit better to me. So, and as I just spent the first hour of this live stream talking all about Star Trek, I'm a Trekkie, whatever you want to fucking say. I'm a Deep Space Nine stan, if I have to get specific. Star Wars has always been something I like, but I don't love in the way that some of my friends do. That my friend Jeff or my friend Opie loves. In the way that they're so Star Wars-centric people, right? So I feel like I can look at it more with a wide-angled lens. Star Wars isn't going to kill my day if it's bad, and it isn't going to like make my day because it's awesome, right? It's something that's, oh, this is cool. I like this. And I liked it when I was a kid too, but it wasn't my favorite childhood franchise either. There was other things I liked better, whether it be the DC animated cartoon series like Super Friends, and then eventually leading into the DC animated series of the 90s and stuff. I was always a little bit more centric, and then Star Trek got me young, you know, and with, because my cousin Gotti, who has been on the show before, Star Trek was always something I had a little bit more of an affinity for at times. Except for maybe in the very early 80s when I was a very little kid and I was like Ewok obsessed or something like that. Ewok obsessed. So Star Wars has always been an extra appendage for me, not something that I need to survive, right? And so in that case, I think The Mandalorian, what it's doing well. I know about it's creating new canon within this universe, within the time frame that I care about. They talk a lot about post Endor on it at times. Like I think it's 10 years or 5 years after the Battle of Endor. So there is some more association on how it is affecting the world that I care the most about in that. The middle one there, the middle child, the Jan Brady of the 3 series. No, I guess it's the original actually. So yeah, there we go. Let me scroll down a little bit. Check the messages I sent you on Twitter. The Battle of the Bastards was the best they ever did. Yes, I agree with that. Then you see the Irish. Have I seen The Irishman on Netflix? Yes, I did. I watched it the other night. Super Mario cinematic masterpiece. Bring back the Punisher. Bring it back. What's up with the Star Wars leaks? I can almost believe anything in an attempt to get media attention. Cost $12 million an episode. Cost $12 million an episode? If you think episode 3 is the best of all time, I have to call your sense of taste into question. I think if I was making a quick order, I would be episode 2. Not episode 2. Yeah. Empire Strikes Back. I'm one of those people. Empire Strikes Back's my favorite. Star Wars, the original Star Wars, number 2. I don't care. I would say Jedi's number 3 for me. I know not everyone's a fan of Return of the Jedi. Then I would probably go Force Awakens. Come at me. I don't give a fuck. Then I would say episode 3. Attack of the Clones, not Attack of the Clones, episode 3 would probably be my favorite. Then it gets messy, because I would say, depending on my mood, Phantom Menace, Last Jedi, and Attack of the Clones. And I'm not going to talk about the extra ones. I'm talking just about the Skywalker thing right now. I would say those are all a hodgepodge of my least favorite 3, and I don't know the order. I think I hate Attack of the Clones the most because of the love story between Anakin and Padme. I think really drags that fucking movie down a lot. Even though the Yoda battle's cool, the battle with Dooku's fun as well, and there's some interesting action scenes in that second movie. I think as a whole, I like Phantom Menace better. I can't explain it, but I think I like Phantom Menace better than Attack of the Clones. And I think Last Jedi fits in there a little bit somewhat. But I'd say that's kind of my list. Killmonger 3124. Oh my goodness. Bring back the Punisher. Damn fucking A. Where did I see? I watched Ford versus Ferrari recently, this past weekend, which is a good movie. Christian Bale, I don't think it's an excellent movie, a very good movie. If you like Christian Bale's acting, being, Christian Bale awesome acting, you can definitely, it's definitely worth watching just for Christian Bale's performance. It's as good as his performance in The Fighter. And that kind of level of Bale integration into a character. And Matt Damon's very good in it too, and very, very little Matt Damon-ness to it, and they have good chemistry, and it's great kind of cast that's put together there. I also saw the Mr. Rogers movie, which put me to fucking sleep. I thought that was fucking boring as hell. Even though Tom Hanks was good in it playing Mr. Rogers, I thought the rest of the movie was a steaming pile of buffalo shit. It put me to sleep. I watched The Irishman, which I know some people are saying was too long, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed De Niro's performance, and I really like Scorsese movies. I think he does a great job. Was it his best movie? No. If I'm ranking Casino, The Irishman, and Goodfellas, I would put this at the lowest. I would put Goodfellas, Casino, then The Irishman. It's a good movie. Didn't put me to sleep for 3.5 hours, or however long it was. Mr. Rogers movie put me to sleep, and I was drinking soda right before that. I was like up, and I was like, pause. But the pacing of which they talked, it was just so fucking slow. But why I mentioned that was I saw Ford versus Ferrari, and John Barenthal was in it for a bit. He played Lee Iacocca in it, and And all I can think about when I'm watching it is, fuck, man, we need this guy to play the Punisher again. We need to make Marvel needs to put together a versus movie that's the Punisher versus Kingpin. And we get a whole movie that's Vincent D'Onofrio's Punisher versus John Barenthal's Kingpin. Strike that, reverse it. And yes, Matt Murdock needs to be in it. Yes, we need a Spider-Man and Matt Murdock movie with Charlie Cox playing Spider-Man. I'm reversing all this. Playing the Daredevil and also playing Matt Murdock, who's defending Spider-Man in a court case because now everyone knows he's Spider-Man. Spoiler alert for the most recent Spider-Man movie, I guess. But, so those are the two things I want to see coming from those universes, because it's not going to ruin my life because, it's entertainment. But my entertainment life will be worse if I never see John Barenthal play the Punisher again, and I never see Vincent D'Onofrio play Kingpin again, and I never see Charlie Cox play the Daredevil again. If I never see any of that, I lose, right? I guess that's all I have to say. I think Luke was very well portrayed, and I think Jessica especially was very well portrayed, and I think we can all agree to forget that the Iron Fist ever happened and try to imagine Stephen Amell in the Iron Fist role, and if they ever do it again. Whatever. We can all have our things that we can hope. But I think that those performances of those three actors are so iconic in those roles that we need to see them play those characters again. And if we don't, we're all fucked here, We all lose. But anyways. Did I say Daenerys instead of De Niro? I will be here before Christmas too. It's my you guys are giving a gift to me for still giving a shit and being out there to listen right now, because I have missed talking to you guys, and I've been a little bit too busy lately to do the things I love so much, which main thing is come out here and talk to you. I was going to call myself a goofy bastard, and then I was going to call you guys goofy bastards, to talk to all you wonderful bastards. Daenerys Targaryen is going to be the star of the new Game of Thrones series. Daenerys Targaryen, he was Maegar's lesser-known brother that was actually the evil behind. He was an evil Jiminy Cricket that used to whisper evil things in Maegar's head. Phil, you're a stoner with me. How do you remember those actors' names? I don't fucking know, Tom. I just make shit up. Usually I mispronounce names, or I have IMDb open on the screen in front of me to pretend to be smarter than I am. But I think today it's because I haven't done hippie activities yet, so it just flashes. I'm realizing as I try to remember lines for a play and I'm memorizing things that my memory, I need to start smoking more, because as much as I want to forget my life and smoke through stuff, it's not working. I can memorize things pretty fucking good. And I think that's a problem that needs to be dealt with. When will the Sopranos prequel movie come out? I believe it's coming out in spring of 2020. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I heard that. I heard it talked about a lot in association when they were talking about El Camino. And we have a Sopranos movie coming out sometime in the first quarter of 2020. So I think it's sometime in April, May, I'm guessing. Writing John off The Walking Dead was the biggest mistake ever. Here we go. When will the Sopranos prequel? Episode 3 is the best. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Mandalorian, I don't know what else to say about it right now. I do kind of want to try to do episode recaps of the back half of the series, or at least do the final episode. But I am a little behind, so I will attempt to try to figure that out. And maybe every Sunday I can do a live stream, do some sort of roundabout stream where I talk about a couple different things. It's October or November. Thank you, Killmonger, who is definitely one of our soprano experts that we have in the live motherfucking chat. I'm hoping. I was wishing a little bit of hope. I'm very curious how David Chase is going to do in this situation. It's a little different than Vince. Say what you want about, some people can say what they want about El Camino, whether it was needed or not needed. I think it was a competently put together project, right? And I think most people can, even the people that didn't love it as much as they wanted to love it, can agree that it was competently put together. We got Better Call Saul, which comes back in February, and we will absolutely be talking about that. Which they also announced that we have 2 seasons of Better Call Saul coming. We have this season and the final last one, which was disclosed on accident that the next season will be the last one, not 5 but 6. But Vince has still been working, he's been going and pushing with with David Chase and the whole Sopranos thing, he's been kind of in mothballs for this whole time. And I'm not saying he hasn't been probably watching television and catching up and figuring out everything he's been doing, but it's not like he's been actively making media lately, unless I'm missing something that he's been doing that I don't know about. So it's interesting to me to him to come out of retirement like that to do this project and to see if he still has that edge. How much of the success of The Sopranos was about those actors? And yes, the story structure of Sopranos seasons was never the selling point. It was almost about the journey, not the outcome there. And that's why I think he did an ending the way he did. Plus, I think he wanted to keep it open in case he could get James Gandolfini to come back and do a movie. But that's just my opinion. It's interesting to look at it and think about that. I think he wrote some incredible dialogue on that show. And I don't want to go past that. I don't want to just say, oh, it was all about the actors on that show. I'm an actor. It's all about the actors. No, but I do think sometimes in certain projects, actors make the material. And I think in a way, Gandolfini made that material, made the material that The Sopranos, it was the perfect marriage of the right material with the right person's voice saying it, and same with Edie Falco. I think she was just perfect casting for that. And I think Christopher, everything came together so perfect for that, in the sense that if you watch a movie like Mickey Blue Eyes, for instance, it doesn't come together, and in certain other mafia projects or every part of Analyze This and Analyze That don't necessarily work because it's not the perfect voice saying the perfect thing. I don't know. It's hard to explain. And I'm curious to see how that transitions into a David Chase project with a completely new cast and a completely new situation. Will it? I'm sorry. I'm sending a message. Sometimes you need to stop and pause and send sad people text messages. So yes, they're sad about David Chase. So I'm very curious about that. James Gandolfini is why a lot of people watch The Sopranos. It's what hooked me in the first thing, that listening to his diatribes in therapy, it separates itself from a regular mafioso kind of thing. And it brings it into this commentary on life kind of thing. And I always go to this one, but Happy Wander. When I see a happy person walking down the street, I want to punch him in the fucking face. When he says those kind of things, it really kicks home. You know what I mean? It really makes that material jump off the page in a way that I think other people can't. And I think I don't know. If we just get a regular Sopranos movie that's just a slice of life in 30 years ago about Johnny Boy Soprano and how they dealt with a riot and all that sort of stuff, is it going to feel too modern with, if you guys know what I mean? Is it going to feel too centric of this time period? Is it going to be charismatic enough, or is it going to feel, I don't know. I'm so curious about that, and I'm going to be watching it first day it's out and talking about it right afterwards, so you guys will hear my immediate thoughts. But it is why I watched it as well. So a couple more things before I call this a live stream, because I have to go out and start to shovel and get my ass to an appointment. But I'm glad I got to come out here and talk to you folks. The Walking Dead. Let me talk about The Walking Dead. First off, Joe Dirty Locks had something to say about The Walking Dead this season. Do I have a voice message from Joe? I do not have a voice message from Joe, but let me say, he was supposed to leave me a voicemail talking about his thoughts on the final couple of episodes of The Walking Dead. Okay, so what Joe's opinion was. What did Joe... People want to know. People keep asking me. People wanting to hear him rant and rave. They want to know. What did Joe think? What did Joe think? What did Joe... Okay, what Joe thought about the final couple of episodes of the final season of The Walking Dead. He enjoyed 2 of them. He enjoyed the Negan episodes, and he can correct me when he's actually out here. His quote was, "The show is only good now when Negan's on screen." Or it's better. He didn't say good. He said it's better with Negan on screen. But we both talked, and the mid-season finale, I wish it wasn't called the mid-season finale because it was under hype a little bit. I don't care. Is the show better produced right now? In my opinion, a little bit. It seems a little bit better, and part of the reason why we stopped I stopped being motivated to come out here and talk about it is because, again, I felt like I was serving a broken record. The show has characters I don't give a shit about, has moments when you see characters have walkers with their hands on them and no one fucking bites them. That being said, I like the episode with Negan as well. The one where he sees the guy who worships him, and his whole situation with that I thought was a well put together episode of The Walking Dead. I thought the mid-season finale was generally put together decently. It just was tremendously boring. It had no hype build up to it in the sense of like stuff that I have to watch, that I have to care about. The characters are nothing. Anything with young Judith is kind of cheesy in a teen kind of way. Anything to do with the walkers have turned to a caricature of the humor of the intensity that they used to have to just basically a basic humor right now. I think most of the characters we have suck and they aren't charismatic enough to carry shit on screen. I don't think bringing back Maggie's going to help much, even though I like looking at Lauren Cohan. I don't think she's going to add much because her movie career fucking faltered or her other show failed, so she wants to come back. Do I think the Walking Dead movies have a chance to be successful with Rick Grimes in it? I don't know about that, too, if it's the same creative forces working on it. How's that going to make it the fuck better? I don't know. I potentially would have probably said some good things about some of the episodes in this back half of the season. I think some of the episodes were pretty well done and put together story arcs. I think some of the stuff we dealt with Carol and Daryl together was entertainingly done pretty decently because I think I care about those characters to a certain point in time. But that being said, I think they're giving too much to Norman Reedus. I think Norman Reedus within the character of Daryl had some limits, and when you see him too much, you hear him too much, it's diminishing returns because he shouldn't be a main character. I think Sadiq, spoiler alert, Sadiq dying was really anticlimactic, but it was an interesting turnaround. But I do think there are some moments in that were done poorly and could have been done better. I don't know. I want to like The Walking Dead. I do. I don't watch every episode looking to hate it. And I didn't hate this back half of the season. Again, I think it's somewhat of an improvement in the structure and the editing. And because if you listen to a couple seasons ago in the last Gimple season, I was talking about how much of a mess the editing was. The special effects look horrible. The music is in contrast to what's going on screen. I think they fixed a lot of that stuff. You know, Joe will be like, it's the fucking same, Phil. I'm like, yeah, maybe the delivery aspect of it's the same because we have a bunch of characters I don't care about, a bunch of stakes that aren't set up anymore. We have walkers that are limits. We have all of our friends stuck in that little pit, right? Do I think any of them are going to die? Maybe the red shirts that I don't know the name, the characters that we care about, are not. I think that's the biggest problem in this show. Again, it's the wasted potential of the fear aspect of it, not Fear the Walking Dead, but the fear of knowing that our characters that we care about can die at any time. In the question, and I think the biggest thing that takes people away from The Walking Dead isn't the fact that they're sick of it, right? Isn't the fact that they're sick of the feeling the show has run its course, right? I think it has more to do with what was awesome about the show when people liked it. I think what was really great about it and what really grabbed you when the show first started was you putting yourself in the shoes of the character, right? You kind of being like, imagine, what would I do if I was in that situation? Oh my God, how would that feel? And you completely defeat that when you turn the show into a complete soap opera. And I think we've talked about this before. The moment they get to Alexandria is when the show, even though there were good episodes and good moments after that, was when the show sort of reached its end because you're no longer with this group of people that you have your people you connect with. You end up getting into this bigger universe. And then you get into the show shows its cracks. It shows its wrinkles more in those kind of contexts. So did I like this back half of the season? A little bit better than... I don't know. Maybe I'm just a victim of the moment and I don't want to say complete shit about it. I did not enjoy it in the sense of enough to want to come out here and be like, I have to talk about this show. But did I hate it as much as some other stuff? I think I'm just nothing towards it. And Joe said this to me as well about his urge to come out here and rant about The Walking Dead. He's like, I did it all in that first episode that we came back. Anything else that I'm saying is faking. I'm having to pick up the rant power here. It's not, I don't have enough stakes built into this that I care enough about it to rant about it anymore. It's a slow death, right? The Walking Dead, every television show is better when it goes out with a bang, right? It goes out in a moment that you really care about it. You know, yeah, almost in the sense of the way, spoiler alert for the Walking Dead graphic novel, if it had ended in some way with the death of Rick Grimes, and then a fast forward to kind of see how that affects the world. That's a good climactic way to end the show. I mean, I guess you could still end that way since Rick's alive, but I think it defeats the purpose somehow right now because of the way you had him disappear before. I don't know. I don't know what that show can do to improve. Maybe it looks like this back half season could be a little bit more interesting. I feel like the biggest problem the show has right now isn't structure, isn't anything other than just being a boring show. And I don't think it's bad anymore. I do think it was bad for a few seasons. The Negan seasons were bad. Bad. Now it's just boring. You don't care about it. I don't care about these characters. I don't care about the threat. I don't relate to these characters. I don't relate to this world. And I don't think this world is fleshed out enough to make me give a shit about it. And that's the biggest problem with The Walking Dead. That and that we're not talking about it after every episode so I can hear Joe rant about it. So maybe we'll get back to it in the back half of the season. Perhaps. I will do my best with it. It will all depend more on where Joe's at with his situation because realistically, I got to be honest that The Walking Dead is one of those shows I don't necessarily want to do without Joe Dirtylocks because really it doesn't matter if I talk about it. It matters what Joe thinks. Ooh, Jay. I just saw that. I may take you up on that, Jay. Thank you so fucking much. And I want to send a huge love out to Silver Beast, to Pickle and Dusty, if you guys are listening right now, as I saw you just like my status. So hi, Pickle and Dusty. Oh my God. Okay. Yay, Phil. Number 1. Tell her like it is, bro. Watch the season 4 Comic-Con trailer. Completely different show. Good show. Oh, I'll talk to you soon, Devin. We got to hang out soon, buddy. Miss you. I can only relate to long hair, bearded, smoking characters. Again, I think that's just the biggest weakness with the show right now. It's a problem. Thank you. Who cares about these news characters? Here to enter our main group story and do spinoffs with these. Yes, Callie. And that's what it comes down to. You know, even when the show is bad, and this is my opinion, right? Not everyone feels this way, but this is my opinion of television shows. Even if a show is bad, if I care about the characters, I will follow you until the end. If you make me give a shit about these characters, I'll follow you through shit shows. I'll sell you 2 shows right now to support that belief. Lost and Heroes. Both shows got weird, got stupid. I cared enough about certain characters that I followed both those shows to the end. I didn't want to stop. I cared about them. The Walking Dead defeats that by introducing characters, and the biggest problem that they have, and Joe and I talked about this on a different episode, is when you introduce these new characters, they don't take the time to make you care about them. They show you them, and then they flash forward, and they're integrated into these societies. So we're like, now we're going to really give a shit about Sadiq. So when Sadiq dies and someone's at his funeral saying, Sadiq's one of those guys we never thought was going to die. You know, someone saying that, like, I know Sadiq well enough to give a shit about him, to think that he's one of those characters that won't die. Maybe if that happened to Daryl, I'd feel that way because I have so much time built up. So you do these flash forwards, and in every season of The Walking Dead, every half a season, you're yada-yadaing some of the best parts. Rick Grimes dies, yada-yada, 5 years, so we don't see how everyone actually deals with Rick Grimes' death. We yada-yada. Yada-yada after the heads were all severed. Let's yada-yada a few months ahead of time, so we don't see how everyone actually reacts to the heads being cut off. We just show what the world's like now after everyone's already adjusted to the new lifestyle, not the Whispers has laid their fucking dick down. No, I want to see how we get to those points, because that's how you make me give a shit. You don't just make me give a shit by going yada, 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 yada. Hi, everybody, I am back. No, I got to tell you, I'm doing a play. I'm doing this. I'm busy with work. I'm, dealing with a lot of fucking personal changes right now, blah, 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 blah. And that's why I'm not able to come out here to talk to you guys. So you guys know, you can understand me. You can understand why I'm having trouble coming out here, so you can relate to me. If I just came out here, I'm sorry, everybody, I was gone, I'm back. Hey, And this is a podcast, right? This isn't even a fucking television show. This is a one-on-one live stream, not even a podcast. I don't even post this as a podcast all the time. This is a live fucking stream discussion show, whatever the fucking kind of show this is. I don't even give a fuck, right? About labels here. But whatever, you're getting what I'm saying here. That you need to emotionally be invested and to learn about these people, to actually give 2 flying dwarf burgers about what the hell's happening. And that's our problem with the fucking Walking fucking Dead. Enough. The random guys at the prison were more interesting than these fucking characters. Yes. God, it's great to see Bernie's face. It's great to see Tom's face. It's great to see Killmonger, VFW, Tom himself, Callie. I was going to call you Carrie for some reason. Okay, so I need to start to wrap things up here and not like Phil wrap things up here where I wrap things up for 20 fucking minutes. I need to actually start to wrap things up here. So I do want to talk about one other thing, And this, people can tune off for this, right? Because this is a show that not everyone watches. But I was a request on my magic wheel over there, and I need to honor my requests on my wheel, especially from some of our hardcore listeners. And if you have made a request for the wheel and I have not honored that request, message me privately. igotissuesman@gmail.com. DM me, slide in my DMs on Instagram, on Twitter, or you can message me on Snapchat if you're my friend over there. It's Garrick Quark, or just look up the Issues Guy, or on Facebook, whatever. If you have made a promise to you about talking about something, I know I made a promise to somebody, I'm forgetting who, to talk about The Godfather, for instance, and I know I need to do that at some point in time, right? But please message me privately so I can remember, even if I've mentioned your thing right away, because I just want to get a handful of the ones I need to play catch up on here. But one major thing I need to play catch up on is a big promise I left for our amazing friend of the show, Fandom D Saint, BBM over there, has been hounding me for a long time to do more reviews on CW stuff, and which just for instance, Broke, if you're listening to this part, I am almost caught up from last season for Arrow and Flash. I'm rewatching the seasons. Yes, I'm masochistic. But the show that I've been talking about since the first episode that Broke had requested for a review of is the final episode in the final season of Gotham. So here we go. I am going to talk about... You should watch C. I've heard good things about C. I also want to watch that's coming back soon as well. And You, if you haven't seen the first season of You, I highly recommend it, especially if you've ever seen Gossip Girl. Dan Humphrey's amazing on it. Okay, so Ion, great to see Ion. But this section, right, like everyone else can turn this off. This is for Broke right here. Broke. Here we go. Wait 1 second. Let me put on some music. Here we go. Wait. Put on some music. Let me do it. Da 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 da. Put on some porn music for a second here.
Hi everybody, this is Bruce Wayne. I'm back from my trip, and I'm here to come back to Gotham City and talk about the final episode of Gotham.
That's right, I'm here to talk about Gotham. That's right, Broke. Here we go. Finally, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk about Gotham. Not like a shit ton here, because I'm running out of time. And I know you probably want like a whole review on the final season of Gotham,
But here we go. I have some hockey pads.
So, Broke, the final season of Gotham. Okay, I thought the final season of Gotham, and I think Gotham in general, everything that's not Fish Mooney, is very fun, right? I think it's higher quality produced and has a little bit more balls than some of the CW series in the way that it can kind of go dark sometimes. And I think some of the associations and some of the versions of the characters that they've dictated on there are good versions of them. That being said, it gets wrapped up a little bit in some of the cheesy dialogue and some of the over-the-top acting that you get on it. It seems to me some of the characters on it think that they're doing a version of the 60s Batman series in the portrayals of the characters. Fish Mooney, Jada Pinkett Smith is a good example of it. I think she's doing an inspired Eartha Kitt kind of thing. The kid that they have playing the Penguin, I think, is a good actor, and I think he puts his all into the performance. I think sometimes it's too much. And I think some of the setups are very formulaic on Gotham. But I do think some of the performances are good. I think Ryan Atwood as Commissioner Gordon works. And I think, what's his name is Bullock, Don Logue, or whatever his name is, that you might know from Gotham, you might know from Sons of Anarchy, and lots of other stuff. I think they have good chemistry. And I think some of the actors that you have, Michael Chiklis coming in there for a little bit, was a good casting. And I think, in general, the villains are okay versions of the villains, right? And I think, in general, the performances make me smile. Gotham, a lot of times, makes me smile. It's not must-see watch television, and it has some poor, shitty shit going on. It's not a great show. And again, I've said this before, I have as much love for shitty programming as I have for good programming. And I think Gotham has hit some high points and some interesting arcs, but I think as a whole, I would not call it the best show possible, right? Hey, the wonderful Bug, 5:50 a.m. Well, good morning, Australia. Good to see you, wonderful bug. It has been way too long, and I'm so excited to be out here to talk to you right now. This is the end of the show, but better something than nothing. Phil, keep Joe away from the Batwoman show. You may break his TV. I did see the pilot episode, sort of the Batman show, where in the Arrow episode of the crossover series where they go to Gotham City. And I'm like, is Batman around? No, Bruce Wayne's gone. Too funny. You have to have that Supergirl, Batgirl moment, Batwoman moment. Horrible. Gotham, though, what I think I like about it is I like the design of the city. I think the police place that they have, the police headquarters, is a very awesome set that they have. And I think some of those aspects of it I enjoy. That being said, it was never a show that I had to tune into, have to watch. But it's a show when I catch up on, it's a fun, cheesy watch, right? And I think, in general, this final season had some decent stuff leading into it, right? I think everything leading up, the way it was all coming together and everyone joining together to kind of fight together, was interestingly done. Then, they did it, broke. They did the fucking time jump, right? They did the 10-year time jump. And Bruce comes back, and he's fucking Batman. We see Batman. I hated that, right? Okay? I thought it was decent up until the end, but then when we do the fucking time jump, I fucking hate time jumps like that. I never need to see douchebag in his fucking Batman uniform, right? And I think you kind of cut the balls off on some of the storylines that you built up. Hence me talking about Enterprise earlier. Enterprise had some storylines that needed some conclusion, and then they jump and show you that it's all a holodeck scenario. And I don't like how they jump 10 years into the future of Gotham City, and we see the foundation. We have to see all of our beginnings to see the Gotham City that makes sense for Batman. It was almost like they took everything that they had built up in the series, and my explanation that, this is just an alternate universe Gotham, and that's okay. And they took all of that and they said, oh no, we got to get everything set up for the chess pieces for Batman. We got to do it. And I think that sucked. I think I didn't want to see that. I didn't want to see that world created in a open for Batman. I could have dealt with the final shot being Bruce disappearing. And why did Bruce disappear? He already had his training. We already went through that whole time period where he got trained by the League of Shadows and that whole fucking thing that happened when Alfred traded him. Why do you have to leave Gotham for 10 years just so we can come back and see someone else playing Catwoman? Because I don't know. I don't get necessarily why they chose to do all that. Or we can see Jerome Valeska all dressed like shit because he's off this season of Shameless. I don't know. I didn't love the final episode, but I enjoyed, in general, the final season, if that makes sense. So that's my review of that, Broke. I can get in more depth of it when you're actually in a live stream, so I can answer your questions. But that's my quickie review of the final season of Gotham. I enjoyed the season. I thought the connection, the way they connected with, to make it so that Barbara was having Barbara, when everyone's like, oh, see, you can't marry her, and then him and Lee, God. Lee is a bleh character to me. God damn it. Okay. So, I'm back, you silly fucks. Okay, David's back. We got to get off the air now. But everybody, if you haven't already, you enjoyed this silliness, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Share the channel with a friend. I know I'm not on all the time, but I'm going to be on even more. And as I've mentioned before, because I say the word fuck a lot and shit a lot, and there's an overindulged marketplace of everyone and their mother wanting to do something similar, it's harder than ever to get more new listeners and new viewers. So if you guys know somebody that might enjoy this brand of silliness, bring them on in. And even if not, I'm happy to talk to all of you motherfuckers. But I am so lucky, and the only way we are still growing today or get any more viewers or any more listeners is from the help of the live motherfucking chat and the other creators and other online entities that share the word and help spread us to more and more folks. So spread me like a disease. I so appreciate you guys waiting and you guys being around, and I'm so happy we had a fucking snow day today so I can come out here and talk to you guys. It will not be as long for the next time. Again, every week I try to do it every week, and I'm going to be trying to do this every week coming up. And then in January, at least for December, and then January is going to be a little hit or miss because I actually have my productions. But then once my show's up and running, I'm going to kind of know my lines and know what I'm doing. So it's going to be easier to not use my free time in trying to remember fencing choreography or my blocking or some other nonsense to hear me be a fucking neurotic actor here for a second. And Walking David, you and I are overdue for a live stream coming up very soon. We're going to finally talk about... David and I have some fun stuff to talk about. But we got so many amazing shows coming up in 2020 that I can't wait to talk about. We got the Lord of the Rings series, I think is 2020. We got the new final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. We got Picard. We got is the new Game of Thrones series, or is that 2021? I don't know. A lot of cool stuff coming up. The final season, second to last season of Better Call Saul. So a lot of shows coming up soon that are very important ones that I can't wait to talk about. And going to be talking about more movies as well, as I talked about a couple movies tonight, even quickie reviews. A lot more podcasts. Might be roundabouts where I talk about multiple stuff, or catch-up streams, just because I rant and I rave anyway, so I might as well create streams where I don't necessarily have to talk about one single topic. Maybe we don't get the burst views on those by, taking advantage on what's popular in the moment, but I do like being able to have some freedom to babble about whatever I want without saying, you're not talking about the thing we tuned in for. So, yeah. So everyone, thank you so much, and have a good one. And I always feel like I want a better closing. Have a good night and a wonderful tomorrow. Some shit like that. I don't know, guys. Talk to you soon. Oh yeah, this holiday season, use my Amazon link. It helps us.